And I'm Georgie.
And we're the Happy Vegan Couple. Back with another cooking video. Georgie, what you got for us today?
We have oven-baked onion rings, and they are, get this, oil-free.
And delicious and crunchy. So wouldn't you rather eat these for some snack food rather than going to the store and buying those oil chips or something worse, cooked in a bunch of oil that's not healthy for you?
Nope.
This is yummy. Side dish, snacking. Wait till you hear that crunch. They are really good. And even better, how many of you remember the acronym that Dr. Joel Furman uses for the foods we should eat every day because they're going to give us great health? What is that acronym?
It's G-bomb.
Right. And what's the O stand for?
Onion.
Onion. So let's go. Baked onion rings coming up. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. We hope you enjoy the video.
Okay, everyone, let's get started on my oil-free baked onion rings. The first process in this is making the breadcrumbs. We use Dave's Killer Breads, 21 whole grains and seeds. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 8 slices of this bread to make 1 cup of breadcrumbs. First thing I do is put them on the cutting board and cut the crust off. Then I place them on a baking sheet such as this on a silicone pad, or you can use parchment paper. So this is what this kind of looks like after I've cut the crust off. Then I did an experiment today of the faster way or the slower way to do this. The first way was 300 degrees for 55 minutes. It took that long to make the bread crusty enough where I could make the breadcrumbs. The second way was 185 for 2 hours, and I turned the bread every half an hour to dry it out faster, which worked out pretty well for my liking because of the toastiness. So this is what I want to show you is the way the bread comes out crunchy. You can hear it in the crunch. That's what you want. What I did after that was I put it in a blender, our Vitamix, and I pulsed it until I got a texture like what you see here. If you want to see that, it's like a coarse cornmeal. Okay, that's what I got out of that. So let me put this over here.
And of course, if you don't want to make your own breadcrumbs, you can go to the grocery store and look for some whole wheat breadcrumbs.
Exactly. Next step is I've got everything laid out here just to show you what I have. First thing I have is unsweetened soy milk, whole wheat flour, chili powder, paprika, turmeric, black pepper to bring out more of the turmeric for your beneficial needs, salt, onion rings, as you can see. Now my dry mix is the breadcrumbs, turmeric, paprika, and salt. Those are the dry things. So what I want to show you first, I'll kind of push these aside. I want to show you how I cut my onion rings. Now if you have a large onion, which would be, maybe this big, you're going to cut it in 3 sections. So this is a smaller sweet onion is what I like to use for onion rings. So the first thing I do is I cut the edge off. The other side. Then I go real lightly into the first part of the skin of the onion. Because that's all you want to do is peel out that offside or the outside of the onion. Just to get the skin off. Come on. Don't be difficult. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut the onion in the center. Because it's a smaller onion, you want about a 1-inch slice of onion to end up like that. So we're just going to cut it straight down the middle. Okay. Then I'm going to turn it over with the smaller side. This one, I can see that it's already cut through. So it's not going to matter if they have the split because it'll work out the same. Then you go into the center of the onion and you push down. There's your ring. Same thing. there's your ring. I think maybe I'll get one more out of this, maybe not. Oh yeah. Okay, now what I do with these smaller ones, I save them till the end and I just coat them and put them on there to eat them the same way as the rings. Okay, we'll start, kind of push on the outside first. There's the first ring. Just kind of work it around, just to pull your onion apart so you got a ring there. Same thing. Now, this one's tighter, so what I'll do is I'll slice the outside of the first ring and it'll have to be split until I get to where it's not too tight. You're gonna have some split rings, you're gonna have some full rings.
They're all gonna taste the same, right?
Yes, they're all gonna taste the same. So we're gonna use the rest of this as the smaller pieces that we can do like onion bites, okay? Next step is we're gonna make the dry mix first. I'm gonna pour the breadcrumbs into a bowl. I prefer the bigger bowl for the bread or the dry mix because I can kind of shake it around and get everything covered. The wet mix will go in a smaller bowl. So there's my breadcrumbs.
Wait. Isn't that the, aren't the dry ingredients over there?
No, that's the wet ingredients.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
These are my dry ingredients.
Okay.
Turmeric, paprika, and my salt. Just mix that up. Mix it up good because that stuff will stay together.
Oh yeah, I see the soy milk over there. That was my clue that was the wet side over there.
Okay, so there's my dry mix. Let me get this old onion out of here. Okay, my next will be my wet mix. I'm going to put my flour in first.
And again, that's whole wheat flour.
Yeah.
Is that whole wheat pastry or whole wheat regular?
It's whole wheat ground flour.
Okay.
No pastry or anything. Okay, my paprika and chili powder, my turmeric, my salt. Same thing. Take your spoon or your fork and mix it around. Make sure that it's good and mixed and everything.
And did you already shake the pepper in there?
No, I haven't. Okay, I've got that mixed up. Pepper, I'm going to do just a couple shakes to bring out the turmeric. I'm going to put it in both. Not even a quarter of a teaspoon for each one. Mix that in.
And again, the black pepper, we use it with turmeric because it makes the turmeric compounds more bioavailable for your body and you get a bigger benefit from it. So that's why we use the pepper.
Then I'm going to take 2/3 of a cup of soy milk. Let's see, where's the 2/3?
And if you don't use soy milk and you use almond milk or some other non-dairy milk, you know, you could try that as well. But we have soy milk in our house, unsweetened.
Now I always keep my soy milk here because as you're doing the onion rings, this gets too thick. You can add a little bit of soy milk to it to make it not so thick. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this in here.
And you'll kind of tell us what consistency you're after.
You'll see, a liquidy pancake mix. You can see how it just kind of drips off the fork.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, you want to use 2 hands to do this. The reason being is if you're putting all your liquid in here and doing it with the same thing, you're going to lose a lot of your breadcrumbs. So by using 2 hands, you're going to save your breadcrumbs as much as you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these. I'm going to dip it in the mix. If you want to come up a little closer, Denise. And shake it off. You can see I've got the texture everywhere. I put it in here. And when I put it on the tray, you can see that I've got it well coated. I put it the smaller side down. That way you don't have to flip them and it'll get crispier. So let's go ahead and do There's even a broken one here.
So now you were using the same hand, but you weren't really, because you were
No.
shaking it in the
Right.
bowl. Some people might not feel so confident with the shake, and then they might want to use the other hand if they were
Right.
really dipping it manually.
Okay. Already, I need to put a little bit more liquid in this because it's just too thick. You can see how it thickened up. And this is just a base for your onion rings to hold your breadcrumbs on. Okay, here we go. Let's get this going. See, I'm using the same hand, however, I'm not completely getting into the
Right.
mix.
See, I would feel a lack of confidence to do the shake. I would feel like I'm going to shake those breadcrumbs right out of the bowl. So I'd probably use my other hand to actually
If
dip
you
it
keep
in there.
one part dry, you're not going to blow up your mixture. I mean, your mixture will be fine. Okay. So what are the benefits of onions?
Well, there's so many benefits according to Dr. Joel Furman, as he talks about them as being part of the G bombs, the foods you should eat all the time, as much as possible. So the O in G bombs actually stands for onions. And he talks about them being great for heart health and anti-cancer benefits. Of course, these onions are part of the allium family, which have a lot of those other yummy aromatics, scallions and shallots and garlic, all the other types of onions.
Now, I just want to say that you can take and do this with zucchini, mushrooms. You can use the same batter that I've made with any vegetable. Your broccolis, your cauliflower. Oops.
Right, you recently made it with eggplant and zucchini.
Right.
And then we actually had an interesting topping.
I need some more soy milk.
We had kind of like a tomato marinara chunky sauce that we used for some pasta we had left over, and we just tried putting them on top of the breaded eggplant and zucchini, and that was a yummy way to eat those.
Yeah, it was great.
But these
Like
we
a
usually,
bruschetta type thing?
yeah, these we usually eat with mustard though, right? We you like to dip it in mustard.
Yeah. Well, you like mustard. I like to eat them plain.
Oh, you just eat them plain? I
I
forgot.
don't put mustard on my onion rings.
So when I was a kid living in Chicago, there was a very famous place that we used to go for onion rings called Hackney's. If anybody is watching from Chicago, you might know that place out in the northern suburbs. But let me tell you, their onion rings were greasy, 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 greasy. Real thin and greasy is what I remember. And while I enjoyed it back then as a kid, I know better now that I don't want to put all that oil in my body.
Well, in California, it was Pat's Chili Dogs.
So anyways, we're happy that we found this recipe and we can still enjoy the onion rings and the great nutrients from the onions and have a little crunch. You know, and the fact that we're using whole wheat flour, so then we're getting, you know, the fiber from the whole wheat bread. And so we, you know, that's great. You know, refined flour bread for us.
As you can see, this hand is pretty well clean still. Mm-hmm. I'm just using it to shake the mixture on.
Well, you're a good shaker, Georgie.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, it's a little time consuming, but I'll tell you what, this is the closest thing to deep fried onion rings that you can get. And I was a connoisseur of deep fried onion rings, you know. Yeah, not been a good oil that they were cooking in them, but some of the times it's like, oh my goodness, I couldn't wait to eat the onion rings that I was going to eat. And I got to the point where I told Denise, I said, I really miss onion rings. So I kind of searched it out a little bit and played around and did some different techniques and stuff, the way I did things. And this is what I came up with as far as the best taste. And they come out crispy, which is amazing. You know, it's like they were deep fried.
Right. Don't miss the oil at all. And our body thanks us for it.
Okay, so now I got a bunch of pieces here. As you can see, just chunks. I'm just going to put that in there, mix that around.
Kind of show what's left there.
You see all the chunks in there? Okay, those are just rings that I couldn't pull apart. So I'll just throw them in here. Get some batter on them.
Nice tray there.
And put those on here. And they'll cook up and they will be like an onion bite. Okay, there's the onion rings. I gotta put them in the oven at 450, which I've already been heating up. As you can see, it just beeped. I gotta put them in there for 30 to 35 minutes. I wouldn't go much longer because you don't want your onion rings to be dried out. So as they cook, if you want to go at 25 and check them, take one of them off and take a taste bite, try it. If you think they need to be a little bit crispier, then leave them in a few more minutes. But 30 to 35 minutes should be good enough. So,
and you don't need to flip them?
No, because what I did is, like I said, I put the smaller part of the ring on the bottom so that the bigger part is going to crispify. If you would have turned it the other way, you'd have a hollow part where the steam would cook it. So that's something that I thought about, and it worked out. So, okay, I'm going to put them in the oven. We'll come back in 30 or 35 minutes, and they should be done.
Okay, sounds good. Can't wait.
Okay, everyone, here's my crispy oven-baked onion rings. As you can see, they turned out wonderfully looking. Right here, you can see my little nuggets, kind of like an onion nugget versus an onion ring. But I'm going to go ahead and take an onion ring, and you can hear how crunchy it is.
Try another one, Georgie.
Mmm.
Let's hear that crunch.
They're delicious. Mm. You're going to prefer these over deep fried any day of the week, especially using sweet onions. It makes such a big difference. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my video today, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
We hope you enjoyed that video, and I gotta tell you, before we got up here to do our close, we had to eat some of those onion rings because they were so good and waiting for us.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what, they're a great little addition to just having a snack food, or even filling in with your burgers and your carrot dogs. There you go, baked onion rings.
Yeah, so we'll see you next time, and just want to remind you, please tell your friends about the Happy Vegan Couple. We got great content on our page, and we have interviews with people who have transitioned from eating diets that aren't healthy to diets that are healthy, and they've experienced great benefits. So subscribe, hit that bell for the notifications, and we'll see you another time. Until then, I'm Denise.
And I'm Georgie.
And we're the Happy Vegan Couple. Go plant-based. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.